One of the most common questions I hear is what can I be doing right now to make my return back to work easier? And for clarification, when I say back to work, I mean the paid workforce, because I know if you're on a career break, you're most likely working your butt off. And the great news is there's actually a lot that you can be doing that not only make your transition back easier, but also will build your confidence and your credentials. So let's get started. Welcome to Module 3, which is all about owning your gap. And I want to start off with this. You are most likely making your career break a bigger deal than it is. Trust me, employers have seen career gaps for a variety of reasons. It's not so much that you have a career gap, but it's the way that you frame them. And first, I want to start off with some myths and some facts. Now, the first myth is that you should hide your career break. Whew, this one gets me all the time because that is saying that there's something to be ashamed about. In reality, there is nothing to hide. And we will talk about how to structure a resume depending on the length of your career break, but in no way should it be a secret. Myth number 2 is that unpaid work doesn't count. And I get this one a lot of, well, it just volunteered or I just helped out a friend. Experience is experience is experience. On the other side of the hiring table, they are trying to find the best fit for that specific position. Now, think about it like this. If you had a business and you were looking for, let's say, a carpenter, and the carpenter that you were interviewing said, well, yeah, I've been doing carpentry for 15 years as a hobby. I've created all of these beautiful works, but I never received a paycheck for it. Would you be like, okay, well, get out of here. I'm not interested? Of course not. It doesn't matter if there is a paycheck associated to the impact that you've had. So let's just get that one out the door. And myth number 3 is that career breaks hold you back. I want you to flip that narrative and see the benefit of your career break, the new experiences that you've had, how you've grown as a person, the new things that you can take on because of your career break. And this does tie back into mindset. But if you are confident that your career break has furthered you as a person, then that is going to come across when you are looking for positions. Now let's talk about things that you can do during your career break, which may make it easier for you when you look to return to the paid workforce. And I want to put a caveat on this. If you are currently on a career break and you're in the thick of things as a caregiver, as a parent, you know that time is limited. I'm not saying that you have to do all of these, but it is helpful if you know a direction you want to go in when you do return to the paid workforce, if one of these can help you get there faster. The first one is to strategically volunteer. And what this means is that you are volunteering with intention. You are going in with the intention of learning a new skill or honing existing ones, learning about new companies or industries that you might not have had an opportunity to get a foot in the door in otherwise, or to build your network. And the great thing with volunteering is that you're able to do this more on your schedule. So, for example, when I was on my career break, I had come from an HR background, but I had always been fascinated with the financial sector, but I had no experience and no way to get experience in it. Well, there is a financial literacy coalition here in my city, so I volunteered to be a facilitator for their workshops. At the orientation, the director was there. And so I approached her and I told her my situation, that I was on a career break. I had about 5 extra hours a week that I could help out in areas that she needed. And she did have an area. She needed help with volunteer coordination. So I helped out with volunteer coordination as well as learned the back end of how the organization worked and did facilitation as well. Lo and behold, a few months later, I was actually offered a position as the official volunteer coordinator, but it's obviously paid position with that company. But here's the thing. I had used that experience and already put it on my resume when I was applying for positions, so had just received a job offer. Here I was with multiple job offers with a career break as I was pivoting careers. And that is the power of volunteering. And yes, you should be using volunteer experience as work because it is work. There's just not a paycheck associated with it. If you are interested in strategically volunteering and aren't sure where to start, I highly recommend volunteermatch.org. Future Laura popping in. I just wanted to let you know that after I recorded this part of the video, I learned that volunteermatch.org is now a part of idealist.org. But don't worry, you can still find the same volunteer opportunities on idealist.org. And in fact, if you still go to volunteermatch.org, it simply redirects you. But remember, idealist.org is the place you want to be. All right, back to old Laura. This is a national database of volunteer opportunities. And it's pretty awesome because the different type of opportunities are so varied. I've seen opportunities for podcasters, for editors, for planning specialists, even for hardwood floor refinishers. There truly is something for everybody. And remember, with volunteering, you don't necessarily already have to have the skills because a lot of nonprofits have training programs in place. Next up is to join professional organizations. Now, these organizations can be in what you were doing previously, but if you are looking to move into a new industry, then look to see what organizations are available in that field. And once you start learning more about it, you can also have a better idea of if it is the direction you want to go. But on top of it, you can also list it on your resume. Because if you're going into a field and can show that you're already a part of a professional organization in that field, that looks really good. And even if it isn't a specific field that you want to go in, there are organizations such as Toastmasters, which helps you to develop your public speaking skills, which can be applied to a variety of industries. And when you are part of these organizations, you also have the chance to attend workshops and seminars and learn and grow, along with having a bigger network of people that you can learn from and of course lean on in your job search journey. And next up is to take courses or classes. And now I'm not saying that you have to go back for a degree. In fact, this is a common mistake that I see. People feel as though if they go back to school to get a degree, that that's going to make their path smoother. Well, of course, this might be true if you were a lawyer and you want to become a veterinarian. In that case, you're probably going to have to go back to school. But in a lot of cases, you already have a lot of transferable skills. It's just a matter of finding what those skills are that are transferable and then pulling them out and framing them in a way that is a benefit to the industry that you're looking to move into. But yes, there are circumstances where you might need to upskill or learn something new. And in that case, there are low cost options that I recommend. Of course, community colleges are a great resource. And if you're thinking, well, I want to learn more about a certain subject and you're not necessarily concerned about having it on a transcript or a grade, auditing classes at your local university is also a great way to do so. What this means is you are able to attend classes, but you're not going to have a grade. It's not going to show up on your transcript. And generally, you're not going to have to do homework or exams, although it does depend on the university. So check out your local university's guidelines around auditing. But also, you can take a lot of online courses. And a big area right now is AI. And I would highly recommend that you at least get some basic knowledge and certification in AI. And this can be done at a relatively low cost. Places like Coursera offer like the Google certification program. And if you are like, I don't have any money, they offer a 7-day free trial and you can finish the course in that amount of time. Also, places like Khan Academy or Udemy. But here's the really awesome thing. A lot of libraries offer free access to these online learning resources So check out your library. In addition to libraries offering these online learning resources, a lot of times libraries have a very extensive on-site workshop schedule along with cities and local businesses. So check out all of these different areas for you to upskill and get more knowledge about the area you want to go in. And finally, there's freelancing. And this is a great way where you can use either your skills that you used previously, or if you're exploring new skills, a way to use them and get paid for them. When I was on my career break, I started writing and I went from $10 an article on a small blog to $500 for some major websites. So not only was I getting better at writing, but I was also making some money on the side, which is great. So you can look at options such as Fiverr or Upwork, or if your friends or your family need your help in certain areas, this is a great way to continue to build your skills. This can be done with writing, designing, coding, editing. There is a long list. So through all of these ways, you are able to not only use and develop skills, but you can also use this to put on your resume and as talking points in interviews as to why you are a great fit for positions. But we do have a resume and interview section in a couple modules, so I will save it for then. And here are a few things to keep in mind. Career breaks are more common than you think. As I mentioned earlier, sometimes you can feel as though you are the only one on a career break. And every single time I have one of my in-person workshops, I tell everybody there that look around. Everybody here is in the same boat. There are other people navigating this. And as an employer, we realize that life happens. People have families. People reach a point where they just want a break. And that is perfectly okay. So do not make it a bigger deal than it needs to be. And when you do talk about your break, own it with confidence. There is no need to be ashamed of it or to apologize for it. When you are confident in your story, that has other people confident in your story. And I really want you to see the unique benefits that having a career break has given you. I've actually done a YouTube video about that, which I will link in the resources section. And I'm going to leave you with this action item. I've created a prompt that you can put into ChatGPT or your AI tool of choice that will help you to see the transferable skills that you have between where you were and what you're doing now and where you want to go. So take a few minutes and see what it comes back with. You might just be surprised. All right, I'll see you in module 4.